Hello, everyone. Welcome to our newest season of our Book Creator webinars. We are so glad to be here with you today, and I am so glad to introduce Christina Mahar, our K-12 curriculum lead, who is going to share with you all about how you can use Book Creator with your multilingual learners during this back-to-school season. All right, Christina, I'm just going to pass it over to you.
Sounds great. Well, thank you guys for joining today. I am so excited to be here to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart. So let's jump right in and talk about how we can welcome our multilingual learners back to school. A little bit about me. I've been in education for about 25 years as a classroom teacher, ML teacher, coach, working K-12. And then a little bit about my personal life. I was myself also a former ML. I'm originally from Brazil. Arrived in the country in first grade without one word of English. And so that really fuels my passion for what I do today. I'm a wife and a mom to two great kids, and I'm super passionate about making sure every student has a voice in the classroom. So I'm really excited to share all that with you today. I also want to take some time to talk about my story. As I mentioned, I am originally from Brazil, and when I arrived in a town in Georgia, and it was a bit of a culture shock. No one in the town spoke my language, except for my family, obviously. And I was unfortunately put in the back of the room with a box of crayons. And that was a very difficult transition because I was very verbal and vocal and strong in my first language. And so school was great for me until I got to the States. And so it was a very hard transition. But that is exactly what fuels my passion today. And one quick story that I do share from that time is my wonderful second grade teacher, Miss Davies. I went from being Cristina Chiarella in Brazil to being Christy Chiarella in the United States. We Americanized my name as much as possible to help the transition. But that teacher told me that my last name sounded like Cinderella. And in that moment, everything just seemed to be a little bit better. So I share that because it is you who has that power to have that welcoming opportunity for those students to feel seen, to feel a part of everything. So I'm going to show you a lot of resources today that you can start using right away. And I'm really excited to hear also some of the things you guys do in the classroom and what your hopes are. So that passion fueled me to be an ML teacher. And this picture right here on the bottom, you see one of my wonderful students who was one of the first ones to use Book Creator in my classroom. And he thrived. The following year, he went on to share with a classroom full of ML teachers how it helped him. And he even has a video testimonial for that following year that I linked here. So I encourage you to watch that. And that's where I fell in love with Book Creator because I saw what it did, not only for his confidence, but how he grew and how he became a leader. After that, I became a coach and collaborated with an incredible team of teachers, and we made literacy resources to align with curriculum to help multilingual learners. And so if you click any of these images, it'll actually lead you to some resources that we have here at Book Creator to support with literacy. And then the pandemic hit. And oh my goodness, I think all of you remember how challenging that was. Well, in that moment, Book Creator saved the day yet again. We, at that moment, as a team, on our multilingual learner team, we started making newsletters for our families. We actually recorded ourselves speaking in English and in Spanish so that they had all the information they needed for school, and that was such a game changer for our families to have that audio, to hear things. A lot of our families were not literate. So those audio bits and to be able to click on the words and hear it read aloud for them was huge. And then at the very end of my career, I worked in global studies and worked with dual language immersion schools. And that's when the translation feature for the entire book came out. And we were able to see how we could use it with the world languages classes, with dual immersion schools who are teaching in French and in Chinese, and seeing how they can use that tool to their benefit. So throughout my career, Book Creator was there for me. And now it leads me to where I am today, the K-12 curriculum lead, which my role is really to support all schools, teachers, leads, anyone in the building on how Book Creator can support your content. And I absolutely love that work. All right, so there are so many features that I can show you, but because we have a little bit of time, I wanted to pick my absolute favorites. I have them starred on the pages right now. Two that I want to speak to quickly, just because they're so fantastic, is there's an opportunity for you to co-teach and work with teachers within a library to support students together. When I was an ML teacher and I co-taught and pushed into classrooms, that was huge. And students can also collaborate on books together. That's something you can turn on or off, but it's huge and powerful for kids to partner up and work on projects together. All of these visuals, except for this first one, the first one is just showing you the plus button where all our wonderful features live, but any of the other pictures, you can click on them and it will lead you to a tutorial to let you know more about that feature. So please know you're walking away. If you're curious about something I don't speak about on the page, you can click and find that information. But I want to highlight the first one is our alternative text that we can add to any image. We've had this in the past where you go to images and add an image to your page. And then when you click on that image, you go to the I button, which is the inspector button. It allows you to manipulate and change things. And then in the past, we were able to then type a description of that picture. This is huge for our low vision or blind students to describe the picture. But what we have now is, now that it's AI generated, we simply, once we click on the picture and the inspector button, we click on this button right here to automatically generate a description with AI. So as you can see here, it says 2 young children are playing by a small pond and so forth. So what I like to do, I hit save, and that's there for our students who need that. But I also like to go to that description, copy it, then paste it into a text box. And now I have an ability to add this, and I can make that background white so we can see it a little bit better. And I have this now with my image, so that now I can turn this into a writing lesson or a speaking lesson or a vocabulary lesson, or even if you're learning about adjectives, you can really talk through the students and say, okay, maybe you want to hide this at first and have it behind the picture and say, okay, who would like to describe this picture? And then have this revealed and say, okay, let's compare what you did to what your description is. And then you can go further and start talking about, well, what more could we be adding? And how can we, what do you think they're looking at? And you can prompt them with questions and add the questions right there to the page. What do you think they're going to discover? And that is a quick 5-minute writing lesson that you can do at any moment. Super powerful to use, especially with our multilingual learners as we're working on speaking and writing. All right, some of the other features that I'm going to be talking about is how we can now import a PDF and have text-to-speech capabilities with it. I'm also going to talk a little bit about speech-to-text and all our translation features. And again, anytime you click on any of these images, it will take you somewhere to where you can learn a little bit more about it. All right, so now, one of the biggest challenges I had as a multilingual learner teacher is seeing all the rigorous content and thinking through, how can I make that content accessible? How can I support my students with all of this rigorous text? And how can I be there for them and support them, but maybe on the days that I'm not there and I can't be there because my caseload sometimes has 100 students on it, I might not be able to see them every day. So this importing PDFs and having it be able to have text-to-speech feature is a game changer. If you go to the plus sign, go under media, In Files, you can simply import any PDF that you've downloaded, something that's used in the classroom, and open it up. And you give it a couple options. You have the options to pull it in as a full PDF page view or a link. For this purpose, I'm going to show you the full page view so that we can use the text-to-speech feature. And then it asks you which pages do you want to use. If it's all of them, you would select all. But if you just want one, then I'm going to select this one right here for today. And then I'm ready for my lesson. So now I have imported that rigorous text into my Book Creator book. The next step I want to take to make sure that students can really hear this read aloud and use that text-to-speech feature is the blue lines around this text. I'm going to go to the inspector button and I'm going to scan the text. And it's going to ask if it's the current page. Yes, that's the one I want to scan, and it's complete. You see the green check and it's right there. Hey, Bobs, thanks for joining. So here it is. Now that I've scanned the text, I have the audio right here. So I can click on this.
Name, World's Largest Seal, by Guy Bellerenti, in the freezing ocean waters of Antarctica.
So not only is it reading it out loud, but it also highlights the words for them. So another step I might want to take as the teacher is I look at this and I'm like, well, I don't really want it to read the word name. And I really don't want the link and the resources for the students to be there at the bottom. So I'm going to use a couple of tools here. I'm going to first use the crop button. So again, make sure I'm on that text. I go to the inspector button and I'm going to crop the image. So now that I crop this image, anything that I crop outside of this PDF is not going to be read out loud. So that's huge. Again, I didn't want name on there, but if I crop that out, I'm going to cover up a little bit of the picture. I don't want that. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to crop out the bottom. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to hit crop and I'm going to save that. Okay. But then when I hit this audio, it still reads the word name. I don't want that. So now I can actually hit this little button on the corner, this pencil, and I can use the eraser and I can erase this. Now, since this has a colored background, it's going to show the color. So no worries. What you can do here is just make it white since the back of the paper is white, and find the pen and use your whiteout to cover that up. So now I'm going to erase all of that. I don't want that in my document, and I'm going to hit done. So now when I hit play on this, then now I can actually hear it and it will not read the name out. Oh, there it is.
World's Largest Seal, by Guy Bellerenti, in the freezing ocean.
So now I've eliminated those parts of the PDF for my students. All right, now speech to text. I love this one because this is what really allows our MLs to have a voice. As you all know, they are coming to us with a wealth of knowledge, with incredible insights to so many things that they can contribute to the classroom. But the barrier they have is the language. So this completely eliminates that for them. When you go to the text button, and I'm going to select that, you see a microphone here where the students can simply say exactly what they're thinking and it records it for them. And what I love the best is that my newcomers who've arrived and they're not speaking English just yet can then switch the language to Spanish, and then they can say what they're thinking about the topic, about the picture in their first language. So here I can say something like, I'm actually going to say it in Spanish so that you can see it. En mi país, yo tenía una tortuga como una mascota. And it has it right here, and I hit done, and I'm going to add that. And of course, the teacher is going to come in and say, I am so curious. What in the world did they just share about our lesson? So you're going to go right here as a teacher, or and go in here and hit translate into English. I'm going to copy, oops, sorry. actually first copy it. I'm going to copy this and paste it in here. And now I'm going to go in and translate it back into English so that I can see. And now I can see that my student said, in my country, I have a turtle as a pet. So they can contribute to that conversation, which I absolutely love. And so will your students. There's so much they want to share, and they're so nervous to do it. And that's the other thing I like about Book Creator is they can do that in their desk, share to themselves, have it out there, and then the teacher can then say, let's, look and see what your partner wrote. And it's a really, really wonderful way for them to feel heard and to really support them if they are nervous, which I really was when I was a child. So I would have loved this. All right, and that speech to text feature, what I love too, is it's in other spots. So if, let's say that student is trying to find an image and they're wanting to say it, and they don't know how to spell car yet, but they can say car, they can use the microphone to search for images. And then we have a wonderful place here under media where they can find millions of nouns that maybe they need a quick visual to show you what they're thinking. They can then use the microphone here too. So very powerful, very helpful. And another thing I point out is all of these features like speech to text and translation, that is controlled under the settings as a teacher in your library. So though these scaffolds are huge and wonderful, there is a point in time where we want to take them away because the student is really thriving and growing. That can be done in the settings as well. So just please know that that's available to you. Another feature is translation. We're able to translate audio, translate captions on videos, and even translate an entire book. For today, I want to show you a little bit about the audio translation. So for this, I'm going to go and I'm going to use the microphone button and I'm going to record my voice. And it's going to count it down for me. And then I will simply say something like, hello, my name is Christina. And then use it. And that's there. And now it's in English. Hello, my name is Christina. But I want that to be in a different language. Maybe I want it in Arabic and in Spanish and in Ukrainian. So the very first step you need to take is you need to add a transcript to this audio. You can do it two ways. You can simply right click, or you can go to the inspector button and hit add transcript. And it is in English, so it's going to generate that for me automatically. I can check it to see that it is accurate and listen to audio if I need to. Looks great. I'm going to save it. And now if you see right here, there's a little text box right here. And that's how I know that that's there, which is huge for our students with hearing impairments. So I love that, that's there for them too. So the next step is to translate this. And again, this audio could be you giving a quick overview of what the lesson's about or the directions for something that you're going to do. That's on, whatever it is that you want to record. So now that I've added that transcript, I'm going to right click or the inspector and I hit translate. I'll pick the Spanish I want it in. It asks you which voice you would like. It's some female and male voices. Hit translate. And now, as fast as that, within seconds, you're going to hear.
Hola, mi nombre es Cristina.
There you go. So that's Spanish. And then what I also like to do is I want to change the color of this audio button so to make sure that everybody who maybe speaks Spanish knows what color is for them. I go to the I button and I just simply change it to a different color and it's there. I would love to have done this in the classroom. I remember at one point in time when I first started teaching, I had a student from Russia, from China, all different places in South America. And I just was struggling to figure out how can I get them all understanding what I'm saying. This would have been huge for me at the time. One quick tip though, if you do want to put the audio in multiple languages on one page, what you would like to do is one extra step. Click on the original English audio and make a copy of it and paste it onto the page. And then use the copied audio to translate it into multiple languages like Arabic. And then I might want to change the color of that so that my Arabic friends know that that's their language and you can hear it.
مرحبا، اسمي كريستينا.
And then maybe I want it in Chinese. And then again, change that color. And I would imagine what I would do is in my classroom on the board in the front of my room, I would put the names of those languages in those colors so they have that visual cue of, okay, orange is Espanol, this is Arabic, and they'll kind of see it. If you try to translate the original audio into multiple languages, what will happen is it translates just that one. And I don't want that. I want multiple ones. So that extra step to just make one little copy and translate it is important. But then now, if these are the directions on what to do as a group, then everyone in that group can participate and all those directions are right there for those students. All right. So the next step I want to hear from is, what are your goals for the year? I would love to hear from you about what do you want to achieve for your multilingual learners. I showed you a lot of features and maybe some of those you can use. Oh, Katie, we don't hear you.
Christina, you've gotten a lot of great comments. Dominique shared that her favorite feature one of the ones you just went over was adding recordings and videos and the translation tools. But yeah, we want to hear your goals for this year with your multilingual learners. Share them in the chat. I just love all the features you share. I think the speech to text is so powerful, for especially that newcomer who maybe didn't use tech in their previous school, doesn't have good keyboarding skills. They can just get right in there along with everyone doing the same activity that everyone else in the class that's maybe been there a few weeks or months is doing. And that's so empowering.
Absolutely.
I'm not seeing any things in the chat yet, so we should probably move forward because we just have about 8 minutes left.
Well, keep sharing in the chat. I mean, certainly keep sharing away. If your goals pop up, you can say the last part of this is really showing resources that you have available to you. I wanted to take a lot of time with the features because those are the things that you might want to see the most. But here are things that you can simply click and use. The All About Me book has a wonderful link here to show you how to translate this. What I love about this book is that the teacher can actually create an All About Me book about herself and then translate it in different languages for students. But then definitely the students, you can translate these books into Russian if that's what they speak and get to know those kids. So please use that. That's a huge one for day one. There's a lot of great books here where here's an example of how to foster the supporting of group work so that if students are, no more back of the room with a box of crayons, let's get them involved, but let's give them those accessibility features within Book Creator so they can be part of that group work. So all these are examples of things you can use during turn and talk and group work. Exit tickets. I love these. If you want to start with just every Friday, let's do a check-in so that I can, as a teacher, make the instructional moves I need for the following week. These are all here turnkey ready for you to use and really have those language learners go in and add their thinking and their amazing learning. Same thing here with differentiated homework. I hear that all the time from classroom teachers when I was in the classroom. I need to give them homework, but they can't understand this at home. No problem. Let's give them a book and put some translation in there and capture some learning. Figure out how to support content in the classroom. All these books are here for you. This is an example of how I use that PDF in the crop feature. Highlighting tool. I put the words and some visuals so that I can add that vocabulary for them. So again, all these books are here for you so that you can see how to do it. And what's something near and dear to my heart is how to involve our families. They're such an important part of education, right? And sometimes our families are so humble and so shy. And I'm like, no, you are such an important part. But sometimes they need a little help in knowing, what does that look like? Culturally, at least in my culture, the parents weren't very involved in education. We left that up to the teacher, and that's how it was in our family. So when they go to the conference, at least my mom was like, I wasn't sure exactly what to say or who was going to be there. So this is a book that guides them through that experience and then can be translated so that if they want to think about what questions they could be asking, that's there for them. So I love this book and a couple of awesome books for family letters, class books, vocabulary books, things to get started, our templates, which live right here under media that you can use as teachers to find graphic organizers. All of that was used within these books. So these are easy to use.
Christina, going back to the graphic organizers, can you show them how to find all those great ones for multilingual learners, the audio ones?
Yes. So if you go to the template, what I love is there's a search feature. So if you do want some audio, you just search it right there, and there's so many to pick from. Already ready to go. You just click it, hit add to book, and it plops it right there inside the book for you.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
And I know that you made something really special for this back to school season. So why don't you tell us about it?
Absolutely. So I had to finish with all these great books that we made school tour notebooks for back to school. So these are books that can welcome your students from day one. We have a book that's for our teachers so that you can see exactly how to use these books, what we were thinking behind them, and just ways for you to see how you can make these books your own. There are pictures in there, there's audio in there, but I have this also for you. So when you remix it and add it to your own library, you can make it your own with pictures from your class. So what I did for elementary is I recruited my children and I had them add some audio. Elizabeth, my daughter, has got the audio for elementary because what I wanted to do is two things. First, I wanted to show you how you can either add your own audio and this same script to welcome kids, or maybe this could be a picture of all the kids in your classroom and each kid does a page welcoming their friends to school. I think that would be huge for them to feel so welcome. Yeah. So I encourage you to take some of that stuff out and put your own in, but the script is there. If you do want to, for your students to say it, you can simply see the script there, change it how you want, and kind of help your students out to make this book for your students. But these books are not meant to be translated the whole book. They're meant to stay in English. So that's why the audio is there. And the reason why it's meant to stay in English is because we have put as a team a lot of vocabulary and phrases for each moment in each class they're going to. If they're going to the office or the cafeteria, they'll see things that they might need to know. If they're going to the nurse's office and they're like, oh, medicine, fever, headache, here are some phrases they might want to use. And this is so helpful for a kid because I would have sat in that room with a fever all day before I would say anything like I have to go to the bathroom or I don't feel well. But if I had a book that I could go to and just click it and it reads it to me and says, I feel sick, and I hear it, then I can actually say, I feel sick, or I can just play it for my teacher and show her, I'm this right here, so this really is going to empower students from day one to really have a chance to practice the language they need to know in every setting of every day. And we have the same thing for secondary. So this is my son's voice. And so again, the voices are there just in case. Sometimes I do know sometimes there are schools that might not have an ML teacher. So those voices are already ready, turnkey, ready for you to go. But if you want to personalize it, which I very much encourage, then please do that. And you can replace that. And as you can see, there's spots for you to add a photo and information of those people and places in the school building that they need to know. If it's a counselor, here's an example of what the audio says.
This is the counselor's office. Counselors help you with schedules, college plans, or if you need someone to talk to. If something's hard at school or home, they're here to help you.
Okay.
I love that. He did so good.
I know I might have to hire them to do the voices for me.
Yeah.
But they, what I want the kids to know is they're not alone. They're here. People are there to help them. There's so many people willing to help and learn. And so these books really allow you to show them from the very first day. And what I love about them too is when they first arrive and you're scrambling to figure out, what desk am I going to grab? Where am I going to put them? And it can be frantic, and that frantic kind of feeling. Sometimes the kids feel that energy and they're super nervous, but if they can sit down and listen and see a book that the teacher and the whole class has prepared to welcome them, I'm telling you, it's going to change the whole trajectory of their life in that school. So I'm really excited to see what you guys do with these books and how you make them your own.
I love this. Thank you so much, Christina. You've shared so many great ideas for this back to school season. One second. I'm going to remove this, add to stage. So speaking of that, we have launched our back to school campaign, which is really just resources, books, remixable books, and webinars to support you in your back to school season. That's really all it is. We just want to help you welcome your students, your multilingual learners, your special education students. We want every kid in your class to feel welcome, accepted, and ready and engaged to learn. And so that's what we think about when we've made these resources. So the link to these resources is down below in the comments or the description of the YouTube video. You can get to the Back to School Hub, which you see here, and you can register for all our upcoming webinars. Next week, we have our back to school demo slam. I highly recommend you register for this one. We have a really fun, big community announcement happening next week about something that we have planned for September. So we want you to join us at that webinar next week and see all your fellow community members sharing the ways that they use Book Creator in their classrooms. Then we have our Farmer Fobs joining us with Anne from Adobe and Michael, and sharing all about our image generation integration in Book Creator. And then our TS team is going to join us later this month to share how to get started with Book Creator. So if you're a tech coach joining us today, or a longtime Book Creator user, but you know someone who would be great and love Book Creator, share this webinar with them. This is for our, new to Book Creator people, and just great to get started. And then over here on our For Teachers page on our hub is where you're going to find all these remixable books, some of like the school tour books that Christina shared. Jump into this library. This is where you're going to see all of these amazing books you can remix and reuse on the first days of school. Christina, any final words today?
No, I think anything you need, let us know. Reach out. If there are any questions that weren't answered today in the chat, just let us know, or if you things that arise. But I can't tell you the impact you're going to make. And I'm just so excited to see what you're going to do with Book Creator, because it will really revolutionize and change the way you can support your kids. So I'm really excited for you guys.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much again, Christina. Thank you everyone who joined us today. We can't wait to see you next week at the Demo Slam. Have a good rest of your week.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.